Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of this podcast in YouTube. So, this is the Perfect Pass podcast. This is again Ivan Gayares of the Perfect Pass blog. It's the perfectpass.wordpress.com. So, it's been a while before I came back to do this podcast with all of you guys. So, yeah, just to give a quick summary, I've been out for a while because of stuff with work and all that. So going back to um, doing the podcast, try to do it all every week, once every week, so you could have more information on what do we have in store for Philippine sports, more importantly, football. So for today, we have two main points of discussion in this podcast. Number one, what I call the Ascal's novella, the issue with Stefan Schrock, Dennis Kagara, and Neil Etheridge with regard to Mr. Thomas Dooley, our head coach for the Philippine national team. And the second one would be the draw for the 2014 Suzuki Cup in Vietnam later this year. So, starting with the what I call the Ascal's novella. So it's pretty much we had issues with the players last week when they started. When actually it was Stefan Schrack who started putting information online about why he's not playing for the Ascals, and Dennis Kagara followed suit, and Neil Etheridge was already there previously, but we just kind of ignored him. But um, for me, the very reason of this issue is a lack of clear communication, or more, in a way, it's sort of a miscommunication. Why? Because I waited for everything to unravel first before making this podcast or writing, because it's really hard to see everything when you're not part of the people, when you're not part of the group, or you're not informed of what is happening inside the team. So as it unraveled, as Shra Kagara put all the information outside with the different interviews, social network postings, and then came this uh, Thomas Dooley's press conference with Dan Palami and the PFF, and it just goes to show that there was clearly a lack of communication between all parties. The first thing that I've noticed was there was during the Maldives tournament, which I thought was a very well played tournament. Stefan Schrock did not like how he was being handled during that tournament. Obviously, I understand him from a player's point of view, because players really do want to play. Like Kagara and Neil Etheridge, they all want to play because they're very competitive and they don't want to be left out of anything. Well, the bad thing about that was during that tournament, it was very clear that there was no clear communication between um, the manager and the player. So it was a lot of people told me, or I mean, commented on social media during the halftime of the final on why Stefan Schrock was subbed out of the game. It was kind of obvious from the get go that that guy was injured. He was pulling his hamstring, and having a hamstring problem is really bad. You can really run really fast if you have a hamstring injury, but you can only run a straight line. You could not do movements from left to right, or everything else would be really painful. Imagine a string on your hamstring that's being pulled, and you feel like it's gonna pull apart anytime soon. So pretty much, I did not understand. I mean, competitiveness comes to the person, really, and you don't like to be subbed out on a very important match in Philippine history. But obviously, that time Shraki can't do anything about it. He just couldn't do anything. That's why he was subbed out. Anyway, I think that was the last straw for him, because initially in the earlier rounds he's being subbed out, early. Obviously, he was being saved for, and for some reason, he got a hamstring problem in the middle of the tournament. So that's bad for us because we lost him there. But long we did not understand that he had a cryptic Instagram post before that he didn't want to play for Dooley anymore, which is what I think is just a very clear case of misunderstanding. I had this experience before. Um, if you believe it, I was a basketball coach for almost 4 years in LaSalle and DLSU. I was handling the team of my batch, which was a very strong team, and the whole College of Engineering as well. I did that for almost 4 years, and pretty much I understood the dynamics between coaches and players because I had a similar experience before with one of my own players. So just to give a quick background on that, we had a very important game against a very important team. It was an arch rival. It's a batch lower than us. So when the game came, I was the coach. The other team only had like 6 or 7 players on the roster. So I had this player before. He was a good player, but he had some attitude problems. He was my friend though. He's still my friend now after a long time. So what happened was I saw the opportunity to run the opponent to the ground by just um, playing the exact same first five for the whole first quarter and running them over in the next quarter. So I didn't want early substitutions because one of my players, that player in question, was a bit late. So I told him, wait, just wait, because I wanted it to be wanted the experience to I mean to take advantage of the lack of manpower of the other team. But this guy took it the wrong way. So he was angry because he wasn't put in. He even challenged me to a fist fight. It's gonna hurt me, things like that, and things got out of hand. And that's one thing. One thing I learned from that is as a coach, as a previous basketball coach, yeah, I was a football player the whole time. As a coach, you have to really say implicitly to the players what you wanted to do. Because if you don't say that, one thing, you won't get understood, and misunderstanding always happens. And the second one, you cannot treat all players the same way. So at that point, from my experience, I just assumed that everyone would follow my lead on my substitution patterns and whatnot. But you know, um, you really can't uh, expect everyone to react the same way to one another. So the thing there is, uh, um, part of being a coach or a manager is to really, um, you know, uh, look at how each individual performs and reacts to you, and adjust from there. Because the thing about that is, not everyone is built the same way, not everyone reacts the same way, not everyone thinks the same way. So you have to adjust a bit. So in the sense of football, there, I think Coach Thomas should do a little bit more on the communication aspect, or he should ask someone from the team to do it for him. So tactically, I have no problem with him, but you have to manage egos, persons, considering these are um, uh, very competitive people, and they want a lot from themselves and from their coaches. So, um, and from the player perspective as well, the player should always try to communicate to the manager, not just react, not just complain, because what from what they complained over social media, it's there's no winning situation about that, because everyone, um, I mean everyone will lose there, because you know things like these should be talked about individually. You should talk to each other. Kagara, Neil Etheridge, Shimon. I think the practical aspect of being chosen for the Peace Cup is like, um, it's a big chance for the younger players to play against quality opponents in home soil and get their bearings straight. I mean, get the things right. So I really don't know how they will resolve this, but pretty much after the dust settles and everything, they should try to talk about it. With, just give talk with mutual respect and just lay everything on the table and like as men, just settle everything. It's very easy to talk. Um, I mean, we have all the ways and means to do this. Like we have Skype, we have phone calls. They could pay for that. Um, it's it's quite bleak for a reconciliation to happen for all the players, but we don't know. We're a family here. We're Filipinos, We talk things out. So um, I think the um, everyone should like just try to be a bit humble about these things. Um, uh, a lot of things were thrown by Coach Dooley during the press conference. If you guys watch it via Rappler video, and it was it became personal instead of being objective and just try to go with the team and but it all came to that. Dan Palami tried his best to hold it, but let's hope for the best that we can get a better team. I'm hoping that this this will work out for our World Cup qualifiers. I really don't think that these players could play the Suzuki Cup. Most probably not. But I'm confident that we have enough depth to really challenge for the title, especially when hopefully we could get back Javi Patino. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place, but pretty much everything is out there already. The assumption is no one from the three will play for the Ascals in a long time, but hopefully Dan Palami finds a way, and obviously everybody gets a bit happier about that. So that's it for my piece on the Ascals novella, and it's sad, but we have the Suzuki Cup and the Peace Cup coming up. So the Peace Cup is purely our preparation tournament, and the good thing, okay, I'll just segue into the Peace Cup. The good thing about that tournament is we're getting stronger opponents right now. Number one, we got Palestine, which defeated us in the AFC Challenge Cup final on a very convincing way. And this is quality opposition. They have the best backline I've seen in the recent Ascals opponents, and it would be good to play them because they are also preparing for the Asian Cup in January, I think. And good to play them. Taiwan, Chinese Taipei. We haven't played them in a while, but I think the last time we played them, it was a draw. This team is very good. Forgot I think it was Che Pong Hang, the striker of that team. I mean, we've always played a very tight matches with Taiwan or Chinese Taipei, and it would be good to play them here at home, sir, and just to try to test everything from that standpoint. And the other thing, the latecomer Myanmar, because we were supposed, I think, to play Vietnam. I think no, I'm sorry. So we will not be playing Myanmar, and Myanmar is a good quality team, so it's hats off to them for coming over and agreeing to play with us, because it's a good way for them to measure themselves as well as they are going through the qualification phase of the Suzuki Cup. That I think it's my guess. I bet that they would be number one or number two, so we could either be playing in the same group as well. More to that later. And yeah, pretty much it. Peace Cup. It will happen this September, and it will be fun for us because the action is going back here in Manila, and in the Rizal Memorial Stadium, where there's new grass all over the place, and it's really artificial grass. Um, I'm excited. I'm excited to really see the games being played here after a while, after a long, long layover. It's about a year and a half. But I don't mind the games being played in Bacolod, in my hometown. But We have to really expand the base here, and especially just try to test the field out and do our preparations for the Suzuki Cup. And moving on to the Suzuki Cup draw. Well, a lot of people watch it live. I watched it live by YouTube last Wednesday, and it was kind of fun. It was a bit exciting. It was a bit longer than I expected, but what do you expect? That's how we deal with it in the ASEAN Football Federation. So we had not really a relatively easy draw, but it's more of an easier draw for us. So on our side, we have the host Vietnam, um, Indonesia, and whoever is the runner-up team. So the only component there that makes it easier is the runner-up for the qualifier stage, which obviously we will play first in with what the schedule was when the schedule was given out. So a rundown on the opponents. We start with the runners-up, Myanmar. I guess it's a toss-up between Myanmar, Laos, and Timor-Leste. If Timor-Leste still have those good players, but I'm guessing that Myanmar and Laos will come through. Hopefully, we play good against them because qualifying is one thing, but they play a lot of games um, before our first game, so they would have more experience and more well adjusted than our team. And second one, um, I I've been thinking of which team is more of a threat to us, Indonesia and Vietnam, and I don't think one is better than the other. I'm guessing. No, I'm not guessing. I'm thinking that both are of the same quality and both are really really strong teams that we have to beat. Yes, we have a better FIFA ranking because we played more games, but it doesn't um, measure up to that fact. Because number one, I'll just start first with Vietnam. Vietnam is on a football resurgence. They lost to us 4 years ago, which really devastated the footballing world in that part of the world. And I'm not, and I'm sure that these guys are like I'm pretty sure they're training already so hard to beat us again in their home soil and to beat us like how they beat us many years ago. But hopefully, um, maybe because they're overthinking too much on trying to beat us, they would beat them really big and make them lose, put lapses on their defense and everything, and hopefully we could break them down. The good thing right now is a lot of our players will be playing domestically starting this month or next month in the UFL, and I'm very excited about that part because like Juan Igirado's coming in. Um, we got new players like Alvaro the defender, um, Jeff Christians and Carl Di Morga are back. So I'm really hoping that we have a better game today. And from what we heard, that James Young husband is working his ass off to get this place back in the team. So yeah, let's see it from there. Vietnam, pretty much have no idea how they play right now, but this will be a this will be the time where they really show up in front of their home fans and like after 4 years of losing against the Philippines and losing again 2 years after, I bet that they're putting all the stops to get first place in this group, and I hope we beat them during that time in Hanoi. And the second team, yeah, Apakabar Indonesia, hello, and Indonesia, man. I've been there. I saw the football. I saw the crowd. I saw everything. So um, I'm pretty sure that they want to beat us like they beat us like 3-0 last time. Um, a very strong team. They have a very, very strong domestic league full of, I think they have 20 plus teams um, in the Indonesia Super League. And these teams are littered with different nationalities. Um, and these guys, like, they play real hard, real fast, very technical, and very, very physical. So Garuda Indonesia will go out to really uh, plant their places in this tournament. So I'm really hoping that, obviously we we are sort of coming from a high note from the Challenge Cup, but we again have to realign with the dynamics, given that we have newer players and players coming back from injuries, Carly and Jeff, and I'm guessing we're gonna see a lot of new faces in this team, and hoping that we get the best out of our players um, for this coming tournament. So, what is there in store for us right now for Philippine sports? Pretty much, I'm ending that Suzuki Cup Draw anyway, and the Philippine sports we have like we have the FIBA Under 17 basketball team and playing in their own World Cup. Um, which I'm a bit saddened because obviously we can't really compete against the tall nations. But just go and give it all your best, and there's no shame in playing and even losing. But just we'll be playing against USA against tomorrow night, and it will be really challenging for us to see kids playing against US kids um, be challenging. And we have also a FIBA World Cup in a few days. So good luck to my buddies, especially to Jeff Chan. Good luck, pare. Hope you guys make a dent out of that World Cup and just show what Filipino pride is all about. And so Peace Cup coming up. I've already discussed about that. And it's pretty much UAAP season. It's the first round, and well, it's been a hardcore first round so far. A lot of things happening, and we will see the winner in a few weeks maybe. So I hope you guys. I'll be discussing some things about basketball as well in the few episodes coming, and I hope to see you then. So thank you for listening, and I hope you pick up a thing or two from this podcast, and I hope to see you then. Cheers and thank you.